Hi everyone, welcome back to Chops Garage. Well, 2022 has been a really busy year for Chops Garage. I've done more cars than ever, done better than ever. It's been an amazing year with a massive amount of support from you guys. I thought, what should I do as one of the final videos of the year? And I thought, well, let's have a roundup of the entire year and see what my top cars were. Now, I'm talking about not only the best buys, the most profitable buys, but also the worst buys, the cars I lost the most money on, the cars at the quickest turnaround, the cars I think I did the best refurb on, the cars that I think were just the best buy overall for the year all round. So let's get started. Let's have a look at my top motors of 2022.
Right, first up, we've got the best refurb. I think the best refurb I did in 2022 was the Ford Fusion. It was a car from a subscriber. He told me it was beat up on every corner before he sold it to me. When it arrived, I thought perhaps should I just give it a quick clean, get an MOT on it and sell it cheaply with the damage, but then decided let's go to town on it. Let's see what we can really do with it. Show people what you can do at home with just a little bit of filler and some rattle cans. So went full at it. Then we got filler primer going on after sanding everything down. This was all painted with rattle cans in the garage in February, I think it was. So it wasn't particularly warm. And there's a really long video for you guys if any of you missed that on this full refurb and you want to learn any of the techniques. But yeah, it was quite a pleasing result at the end. There we are laying the lacquer down after laying the blue paint down. It came out really, really well. Now, as said, to be honest, probably didn't financially stack up doing this. The amount of time spent on this could have prepped, 3 or 4 other cars. But I wanted, just as I said, to show what could be done, and was really chuffed with the results. After doing all the paint, just needed to give the inside a really good clean up. Just had a lot of dirt in it, and we wet cleaned all the seats down. And yeah, I say it didn't have bad mileage on it, had fairly good history, it didn't need too much for the MOT, and by the time we were done, it looked like this. And if I remember rightly, it sold very, very quickly, and for the top end sort of price you could get for a 2010 Fusion, and that was obviously down to the level of prep that had gone on it. Really little nice car. It was nice to save it. It was nice to show what can be done if you put your mind to it with just some rattle cans. Next up, cheapest buy. The Nissan Micra 1 litre CVT, the automatic, 165,000 miles, cost £100 from British car auctions. We had an engine management lineup, which we sorted, didn't we, quite quickly with just an air mass flow meter, whatever you want to call it, as a sensor. And drove really well after that. And that now is with the home built guys in Scotland, and they're releasing a video over Christmas of a full repaint on this because the paint was really bad on it, but they drove it all the way back to Scotland without missing a beat. This was a majorly popular car on YouTube. Next up, biggest loss, the Ford Fiesta 1.4. If you remember, this sat in a corner for months and months on end and got mouldier and mouldier. It needed a clutch, the front bumper was broken, and I just decided I could not be bothered to do this car. I decided I was better spending my time doing other stuff. And I think, to be honest, overall, I think it looked worse than it really was. We sold this to Mad Mike in Wales, who, again, I think he drove that all the way back to Wales, didn't he? With the clutch, which was just ultra grabby, but it was absolutely hanging inside after sitting for months on end. It wasn't wet, but the seats just got really mouldy. It was horrible. Lost £1,400 on that. 1400. Next up, most reliable cars of 2020, the Nissan Notes. The Nissan Notes were brilliant cars, as they've always been for me. They come in a little bit banged up normally based on the type of owners they have, but reliability-wise, I should touch wood while I say it, haven't had a warranty claim on a Nissan Note. Nothing at all. As with all the Nissan 1.4 petrol, 1.2 petrols, the small petrols are the reliable ones. The starters overrun on them. You will find they all do that as they get to sort of 80,000 miles plus. Ask anyone. Other than that, you don't fix that. You just live with it. You advise the customers. They're just cracking little cars, bulletproof, reliable, loads of space on them. As they normally just need a bit of a lick of paint on it, but never cost me anything warranty-wise. Worst part exchange was the Passat DSG. Do you remember this one, guys? Sob story about how they needed a small car to get around London. Moving to London and wanted to get rid of the big car. Well, test drove it, ran fine, left it overnight till it got cold, came to it the next morning, started up, dual mass flywheel knocking like an absolute bugger. So that was the worst part exchange. We that went out to Mad Mike as well, didn't it? He ended up putting a clutch in it, but it had 150,000 miles on. Didn't really want to do it. Quickest flip was the Skoda Octavia, quite a recent car. You all told me this would sell fast, 50,000 miles. It just had the guy before he part exchanged it. He did a service on it, had a new advisory free MOT on it, and had it valeted. I literally had to do nothing to the car other than give it a clean from having driven it back to the unit. Put it up for sale about 10 o'clock. By 9 o'clock the following morning, it sold. Most profitable was the Land Rover Discovery. Now, I won't lie, the guy who sold this to me, it took him some convincing to sell this to me because it had advisories for surface rust on the chassis underneath. I didn't know if that would go further, and I'd never sold one this old before. But he convinced me it was a good one, it would do all right. Bodywork was a little untidy, the plastics on the trims are worn and were faded and nasty, so I spent a load of time doing those up, put new steering gaiters in it, machine polished the outside of the car, treated it, all the plastics to bring all the shine back up on the plastics, and by the time we'd done all that, it looked like this. That car was amazing. Doing this review, this is the one car that I really wish I'd kept. It just had like a sort of retro coolness to about it. It drove so nice. It sold in a heartbeat. And I think we made £2,400 on that car. The most profitable car we did. Was the oldest car we did. It took a lot of effort, like the Fusion, but it was well worth it in the end. But yeah, I wish I'd kept it. And of course, the best buy of the year goes to the Suzuki Swift Sport. This is the best car I have bought in 2022. It's one of the best cars I've ever bought. It is the most fun you can get for your money. We got this from the auction for £1,000 from BCA, assuming it'd need work, assuming the gearbox would be bad, but it drove brilliantly, stuck good tyres on it, did a full fluids change on it, and then took it to the track. There we are, with Lee from Barham Engines behind in his kit car, leaving him for dead down there. You can see how well it corners, how flat it corners through there. It just revs like a nutter. It handles incredibly well. It costs nothing to run. Go and buy one now. They are the most fun there is for your money. If you want something you can use every day and just have a smile on your face every time you drive, get yourself in a Suzuki Swift.
So there we have it, guys. Those are my choices for the year, but those of you that regularly watch, you might have a different idea. So get into the comments down below, let me know your thoughts, see if you've got cars that maybe I've forgotten about, or ones that are particular favourites of yours. Get in the comments and have your say, because that's what the channel's been all about over the year. I want to shout a massive thanks out to absolutely everybody who gets into the videos and has their say down below in those comments. And you know, we don't always agree, but that's the great thing about the channel. We can have these discussions between us. I want to say massive thanks to all of the dealers and the mechanics and all that have always got into the comments and given me tips on what I should be checking out, how I should be going about doing things. It is hugely appreciated, and all the rest of you that say just give me the massive support. Even a massive thanks to the trolls that get in there and push the video content up by saying mad things, that get huge amounts of comments. It's all great fun. It's all, you know, I don't take any of it personally, and you know, we have a good laugh in there in the comments. So get down and have your say on it. It's been a cracking year for Chops Garage, obviously with the support from you guys. I want to thank all of you that obviously bought cars. Massive thanks for giving me your trust in buying my cars. Massive thanks to all of you that sold me cars. We've had some absolute crackers from subscribers as well. I think we've done a total of around 140 cars. I'll get an exact number and a rundown on that, and we've managed to achieve a net average profit of 22% per car. Obviously that's before income tax, but that's after all of the costs. So we've managed to improve this year. We've managed to improve the quality of the cars going out the door, the volume, the average profit margins, whilst having our own premises as well, which has been a game changer for us. So yeah, just massive thanks to everyone for all of your support, and yeah, onwards and upwards for the next year. Thanks again. I'm going to go off and start having my Christmas. I hope you have a great one as well. I'll see you again soon. Cheers.